Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you guys how to use the Smart Money Concepts tool from LuxAlgo and then break down what each button does so you guys can use it to trade everything from cryptocurrencies to stocks and forex pairs. But before that, please consider giving the channel a subscribe to help out. It allows me to make more videos for you guys, more tutorials, and help you guys learn how to make a living being a day trader or a swing trader, okay? So let's get started off by just making a new layout first. You guys can go over here, click Create New Layout, and I want you guys just to name this Smart Money, or you can name it Smart Money Test, whatever you guys feel like is fine. Hit save. It's going to open up a new tab right here. And because it's going to look a little bit more further away, as you guys can see right now, what I'm going to do, and you guys do not have to do this, is I'm just going to go over to Google very fast. I'm just going to zoom in around 175% so you guys can really see what I'm doing when I open up all these tabs and stuff in a few minutes. After that, you guys can see there's some volume on here. I don't use volume while trading. I use momentum, so I'm actually just going to get rid of this right now. If you guys like it, you guys can definitely use it. That's fair. Next up, we're going to go over here to indicators, metrics, and strategies. You guys can see it's like a bar chart with a line on top of it. If you're zoomed out a little bit, actually, it'll actually just say it, indicators, right? But as I'm zoomed in a lot, it'll just be that little logo. Next up, I want you guys to type in Smart Money Concepts. And then under community, you're going to see it right here. Smart Money Concepts SMC LuxAlgo by LuxAlgo. Has around 53,000 likes as of this moment in time. You guys are going to click on this once. And I'd recommend you guys give this a gold star. That way it just adds it onto your favorites because you will be using this quite a bit. All right. Next up, you see a bunch of stuff just pop on your screen. You see all these COHs. You see another COH with a dotted line. You see BOSs. You zoom out a little bit more, you get equal lows, EQLs, and stuff like that. There's a bunch of stuff, and we're going to break down what all of that means here in the next few minutes. However, what I want you to do first, before you do anything, is hit these three dots, say visual order, and then go over here to bring it to the front. All right, that's going to help you out in the future because sometimes this app will go behind other indicators, which can be very, very annoying. So we have a whole list of things we're going to be talking about here. These are all very important and they all kind of help you out, especially because all of this stuff is within one indicator. Usually this is its own indicator, 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 this is its own indicator. So this puts everything together. So I'm going to break it down piece by piece just so you guys can actually use it in your day-to-day trading, because I want you guys to make some consistent profits, because those consistent profits are really how you become a full-time investor. So first off, we're going to be starting here with mode. You have two modes here. One is going to be historical. The other one is going to be present. Historical basically means that we can see all of the previous change of characters, break of structures, equal high lows. We can see all of it from the past. If you guys go to present, it's only going to show you guys the most recent ones. I like having the historical context myself. That way I can go back in time really quickly and say, hey, this worked really well over the past few months. Therefore, I believe it's going to continue to work well for me. Just so you can do that back testing for yourself. And that back testing literally takes about like less than 5 minutes. So that way, if you're opening up Bitcoin, oh, it works very well with Bitcoin, but maybe it doesn't work too well with Ethereum. That type of mindset, okay? Next up, we have style. This one is more of a personal preference for you guys. It doesn't actually affect your trading all too much, but you can see colored versus monochrome. Monochrome to me looks very hideous, very, very ugly. I just don't recommend it, but I prefer colored. And that's just my personal preference right there. If you guys are colorblind, I don't think it matters all too much, but test it out and see if you guys like it or not. It's really up to you guys. Next up, we have color candles. This basically means that every time we have a change of character that's green, which is a bullish sign, or a change of character that's red, which is a bearish sign, it's going to change the corresponding candles afterwards to kind of signify this is a good time to be buying. This is a bearish time to be buying. So let's just turn this on very fast. I'm also going to put this into a logarithmic form just so it looks a little better on the charts. And you can see right here, the last few times it said to buy ended up working out very well. There was one hiccup right there where it didn't work, but if you bought here, sold here, bought here, sold here, bought here, sold here, like you made money, obviously, and that's okay. Losing 1 out of 5 trades, oh yeah, that's what people hope for when they're a full-time investor, right? Okay, so you guys can see how this works, and there's a different way of actually viewing this. The first one is people may consider this is just a buy signal, yada, yada, yada. You know, I just got to buy and I'll hold and I'll make money off it. Another way of looking at this is if I'm using this for a daily chart and I see that we're in a buy signal, that means typically during this time, I'd rather be doing a lot of day trading that's going long rather than short trading that's right. Because if everything's telling you to buy, all of your day trading or scalping that is bullish, it's more likely to make money if you just hold it and let the momentum carry it higher. right? Imagine you bought this dip over here, everything is still green. You still have faith because the overall trend is still going higher. The green candles are still there, change of character is still there. Everything is still pointing towards up. And that kind of helps you make some money in the short term and in the long term. Excuse me. So for now, I'm going to turn that off, but you do have the option for that. And this will change depending on which time frame you guys are on. For example, here's Bitcoin's weekly chart. It's pretty good, right? Buy, good, short right here, short right there, buy here, short right there, worked out fine, buy right here. It's still working out very great. It's been working out very, very well. And this is just with Bitcoin. Imagine you pull this out with stocks and other things. Here's the 15-minute chart, sell right here, made some money. This one did not work. This one may work. This one worked out. This one worked out here. This one worked out from over here. So again, we're looking at some really good stuff here. However, I'm going to go back to the daily chart here. I'm going to go back down the list, take off colored candles, and now we're going to be looking at real-time internal structure. So for this one, what I'd actually recommend before we get started with this, you're going to see the internal label size here. I want you guys to make this from tiny to normal, and it's going to make these look larger. Go down a little bit more to real-time swing structure, make it go from small to normal. It'll make those ones a little bit larger as well. Then I want to talk about exactly what break of structure and change of character is, because all you're seeing right now is all. And of course, green is good. That's going to be green, change of character. Red is bad, right? When you click on all, you're going to see all, break of structure, or change of character. And the same goes for the bearish structure as well. I'd recommend keeping both of these on just so you guys see me to all, because you have all the information there and you just want to see it all the time. Sometimes if you guys become more advanced, you guys will be able to see all of this in your head. But until you become that advanced, I just recommend keeping this all set on all. If you feel like it's too cluttered, you guys can always turn on the confluence filter right here. And I'll actually say this right here. Filter non-significant internal structure breakouts. If I were to hit this, not really much changes you guys can see. It's usually pretty accurate, so you don't really need this all too often. However, what is break of structure and what is change of character? I'm going to show you guys what that means right now. So if you guys go back up here to indicators, metrics, and strategies, scroll down through your favorites and actually find the Smart Money Concepts by LuxAlgo, you're going to see this little booklet right here that says read more. And it's going to be actually a tutorial about how to use the indicator. Now, this one is an okay tutorial. I'm doing this because a lot of you guys have been asking for something more in depth that gives you literally everything you could ever want with this indicator to really master it, right? However, in here we have this image. And I'm just going to open this up in a new tab. That way you guys can see what I'm talking about. And you're going to see a break of structure, break of structure, break of structure, then some change of characters here. And this is all about market structure. So this goes beyond just smart money concepts, but this is something that you guys really do need to understand. And this is how this indicator by LuxAlgo really makes you money and makes you money consistently. This is, I cannot stress enough. So you're going to see two layers over here, 2 for bearish, 2 for bullish. You can see bullish BOS, that's a green BOS right here. Price breaks prior higher high. That means every time you make a new high and an upward trend, you're going to have a break of structure. This was the previous high, you broke above it, there is now a break of structure there. This happens a lot with trading, but this is going to highlight the most important ones, because if you follow this method, there's a lot of this going on. Again, a new high, right? And then we broke above it again over here. That's where the break of structure is confirmed. On this side, though, with the change of character, you're going to see bearish change of character, price breaks prior higher low. So we had these troughs, a low, a low, a low, a low. Once the price broke down below that, we started to see a bearish change of character. To me, that symbolizes, the trend is over. I might have to start closing positions, or I'm going to start shorting to make money as the market comes back down. And one of the things that you're going to understand here pretty easily is you can imagine a trend line coming up right here. And you can imagine the trend being broken right here, and that's already telling you the bullish move is over. We're now in a sideways trend. This almost confirms a little bit more of a downward trend after that, all right? And this is where you guys can be opening up a short, and you can see it goes down, and you guys are good with that. However, if you guys see a green change of character, I guess you guys can assume what that is. We have lower highs, and then we break above those lower highs, and that's going to be a signal for you to buy, right? Each break of structure is also an opportunity for you to buy. Each break of structure is also an opportunity for you to short. But personally, as somebody who likes to get the big moves with large amounts of leverage on, for me to make some money, I will usually just open the trades around the change of characters. That's what I feel most comfortable with, because you get the huge move instead of these smaller moves. If you guys are a scalper, break of structures are going to be your friend. If you guys want to be a day trader or a swing trader, change of characters are more of what you're looking at. But I'd recommend having both of them on your charts, all right? So let's exit out of this one very fast. Let's get out of here. And next up, you guys can see the same thing for the real-time swing structure. And you guys can see basically everything's a little bit large now off of what we did. You guys can still do the same break of structure, change of character, all right? However, I want you guys to focus on something here. The two that you guys were able to change was real-time swing structure and then internal structure. Internal structure is not as powerful or as good of a or as a reliable a signal as a swing structure. So you guys can see right here, there's a dotted line, right? That's internal structure. So what you guys want to do is if you guys don't like seeing the short-term ones, you can turn that off and all of those small ones will go away, right? This gave you a bearish sign, but guess what? It kept on coming down even after the pump. This gave you a buy sign. That was a huge move that happened afterwards. For me, I like having both. That's just because I day trade and I swing trade, so I like to keep it on. But if you guys are looking for a specific type, you guys can turn them off and on as you guys see fit. Solid line, more important than dotted line. That's basically what I would say as far as this is concerned. Next up, you guys can see show swing points 50 and then show strong, weak, high, low. If you guys were to turn this on, let me zoom out a little bit more for you guys. They may add some swing points, highs, high, low, high, low. And that's basically just saying, hey, there was a high here, be careful, there's a little bit of resistance. I usually don't use these at all, and that's primarily because we have these order blocks here showing us levels of support, and I trust those levels of support just a little bit better. You can see the low right here, or the strong low, or the weak high right here. You can see them, they're labeled, they're pretty clear. It's just that I already know there's a level of resistance there. If you guys are new to trading, you guys might consider keeping these on, but for me, I know what a support level is. I can see it with my eyes, right? But if you guys have trouble with that and you guys are new, and don't be afraid of admitting you're new, it's fine. You guys have a long journey ahead of yourself, but this is a great way to start making money that helps out your journey, right? So what that allows you to do is you guys can say that. You can go for the last 50 candles or not. Basically display swing points as labels on the chart. I don't need to do this, but if you guys feel like you want it, definitely add it on there. If you guys are new, I'd rather you guys haven't than didn't. All right, next up, we're going to have show strong, weak, high, low. We talked about this a little bit. You guys can see these little letters right here, EQL, EQL. Just think of those as general support levels, right? You can see there's a little bit of support. So there's a little bit of support right there. It even bounces off this level in the future. Equal high right here. And you can see how we still have resistance in the future afterwards. It's just a level of resistance or support that you guys should be aware of. Again, you guys don't need to put this onto your charts here, but if you guys are new and you guys just want the extra help, definitely leave it on. For me, I keep it off, but for this tutorial, I think I'm just going to leave it on for you guys as well. I think it'll help out a little bit more here. Next up, I want you guys to go over here to internal order blocks and swing order blocks. This is basically just showing you those support and resistance levels. So right now we have the swing order blocks off. Those are more powerful than the internal order blocks, like we talked about with internal change of character. So what I'm going to do is get out of drawing very fast, get my pointer back on here. And then what I want you guys to see is me turn off internal order blocks. All of them gone. If I just put swing order blocks here, it's going to give me the more powerful ones because this is a longer term. Which ones are more powerful? Preferably, you can use this with any chart you want to. I like using it with higher charts when it comes to swing trading, swing order blocks. When I'm day trading, I prefer internal order blocks. They just kind of help me out a little bit more. So if I go over here to internal order blocks, I go to the 4-hour chart. You guys can see Bitcoin had some issues here yesterday with the order block. If you were to buy this last breakout from this trend right here, right, with the change of character telling you to buy, you could have bought right here, sold right here for a nice easy profit, and you see you going up into level of resistance. You can be, hey, maybe it'll go higher, maybe. But at least for now, I've been able to make some good money. And what I love about these as well is they show you like, hey, there's a change of character telling me to short right here. But why would I short into a level of resistance? So typically, you're not going to short into a level of resistance until there's a breakdown. So instead, just trust yourself to see, hey, I'm gonna go with the bullish sign that happens at support because I expect this to bounce. Those simple concepts can help you guys out a lot because no matter what indicators you guys use in the future, if you guys understand where the support is and the resistance is, you know not to really attack those levels unless you see some big news happening, or perhaps you guys can see a strong amount of momentum building up and some level 2 data stuff that you guys have to learn a little bit later on. So that's one thing right there. I'm going to go back over here to the daily chart, zoom out a little bit more. And for most of you guys, I think you guys can really use both of these, honestly. But with swing order blocks, you see I was kind of try to zoom out a lot. Maybe you guys only need to see the last two, and that maybe helps you out a little bit, just show you the really important ones. Other than that, it's really a personal preference. You can even change this to 10. You can turn it to 5. There's a lot of stuff you can do. I usually think like 3 and 2 is fine, but you guys can always stay with the standard 5 and 5 if that's what you guys want to do. Next up, you have order block filter, ATR, and cumulative mean range. This I'm just going to let it explain it to you because I don't really use this hardly at all. But it says method used to filter out volatile order blocks. It is recommended to use the cumulative mean range method when a low amount of data is available, right? So that's just the cumulative mean. We normally have lots of data unless you guys are trading a brand new token on a cryptocurrency exchange or you guys are trading a new IPO that just hopped up on the stock market, right? I hardly ever have to use cumulative mean range. I literally think the last time I did it was years ago when Robinhood IPO'd. I mean, that's how little I actually use it, okay? So just being honest, I don't use this hardly at all. It's just not something I think most of you guys will have to deal with. Default ATR, leave it where it is. Next up, you have order block mitigation. This is actually pretty interesting right here. This one is select what values to use for order block mitigation. You can go close or high low. This basically just means you're using the highs and the lows, or you guys using the closing price. I like to use the highs and the lows because I think that wicks have a large amount of importance when it comes to trading, and I like to use the data coming from the wicks, like the very high point, not where the candle actually closed. I'm a big proponent of that, so I'm always going to be a high-low. I would say if you guys are doing something with a new token or a new stock that you guys haven't tried before, and something just kind of feels a little bit off, test it out to see if close is going to work better. But for Bitcoin primarily and on most of the big blue chip stocks, high-low, fantastic. Cannot go wrong with it. After that, you have the ability to change the colors for the order blocks here. I don't recommend changing any of these. Honestly, you guys can change them if you want to. The blue is going to be your support levels and red is going to be your resistance levels. I think that's pretty fair. You guys can have green be support levels and red be resistance levels if that's more of your style. But I just got used to that in the beginning. I think that's perfectly fine for me. Next, we have equal high lows. We already talked about this a little bit. It's basically the same thing as the strong weak high lows here. In fact, I might have actually mistaken when I was talking about it earlier. Basically, it just gets rid of those equal high lows, the support and stuff like that. You guys can turn it on and off. If you guys want to have more confirmation for a more stronger signal, you guys can always pop this up to 5, and it'll get rid of a lot of them, and it'll just show you guys the most potent ones, if that makes sense. Next up, we have threshold. I keep this between 0.1 and 0.4. That way you guys can see right here just how much resistance and support you guys are really looking at there. This will say something like sensitivity threshold in a range of 0 to 1 used for the detection of equal high lows. Lower values will return fewer but more pertinent results. Again, the low ones seem to be a little bit better here if you ask me. But again, just moving up to 3, we got a few, or was it 4? Yeah, we got a few more over here, a few more over there, so it can help out a little bit. Actually, that one was still there. Next up, you have fair value gaps. This is pretty interesting. This basically just shows you where you might have a potential pullback to. Usually when you're looking at the market and you're making these types of trades, you're going to see some pretty big pumps, especially with the stock market these days, and specifically with cryptocurrency. So when you see a big move happen, there's going to be a fair value gap that kind of puts itself back in after a candle has a pump. Here's a pump. Usually the price action will return back to that fair value gap. All right. Do I use these? Not really. I'm not the biggest fan of them. You can see there's actually not many on this chart right now. There should be one right here. You can imagine this big candle, the halfway point, it should return back into that fair value gap, and you can see that it did that exactly after hitting a level of resistance and a previous equal high low, which means you probably shouldn't have been buying into that anyway. All right, let's back up a little bit more here to continue. And I'm going to take this off because I don't recommend using it all too much. If you guys like it, you guys can, but I'd actually say watch an entire video on my channel or somebody else's just about how to use fair value gaps. I'm not the biggest proponent of them. I think if you're a scalper, they have some merit, but if you're not scalping, I really don't see that much of a use, especially since most of you guys don't pay for TradingView Premium and you guys only have a certain amount of indicators you actually can use. I'd say probably, Next up, you have daily, weekly, monthly, high, and lows. This basically will just put a little bit of a line on your screen, and it'll just show you, hey, this was the monthly low, this was the monthly high, this was the daily low, daily high, weekly low. And all those are just levels of support and resistance you guys might want to keep track of. So you can see right here, monthly low, daily high, weekly high, monthly high. And these are going to be levels of support and resistance that you guys want to keep track of. They may not seem important until you're actually up against them, but they're usually really reliable levels of support and resistance that I recommend you guys get to be familiar with. Typically, you guys can just see it after a while of trading. You can just like, hey, that's a level from, within the last month, right? That's what I'm looking for there. Next up, you have premium discount zones. This one is pretty interesting right here. This one really allows you to just have an extra level of support, especially if you guys don't like using the order blocks as much. So if I were to take away the order blocks, you see all that disappears. Then I say, hey, I want premium discount zones. This is a big resistance level up here. If I scroll down even more, equilibrium back over here on 78, 80,000 bucks, and an ultimate level of support back down here on 50,000 bucks. So if you're looking at this in the long term, you might not want to buy Bitcoin at sky high. In fact, you may want to let it pull back here a little bit before making that move. Again, this changes from each time frame. So if I go over here, it's like a 2-hour chart. It's going to be completely different. You can see the discount zone right here is around 91,800. Again, kind of where the order blocks are going to be, but this one also gives you the equilibrium, which I think is pretty nice as well. And you can see the premium right here. We have a strong high at the same time. That's probably where you're going to be looking to sell your position and take your profits and then, reinvest them later on to make you even more money. For me, I keep these off, but you guys can see, oh yeah, there's a level of resistance there. Oh yeah, there's a level of support there. You can see it after you get used to it. But as a new trader, I'd actually say a lot of you guys would probably benefit from having that on your screens, especially if you guys don't like the order blocks. I think that a lot of swing traders prefer order blocks. I think a lot of day traders that want to trade multiple times a day actually prefer the premium and discount zones. That's my 2 cents right there. So next up, I'm going to actually give you guys a good strategy for using this tool with. That way you guys can just make a little bit more money and you guys can understand some of the simple concepts out there. What I want you guys to go do is go over here to indicators, metrics, and strategies, and just type in MACD. Click on this one time, moving average convergence divergence, stochastic. Hit this one time as well, and then RSI. There you go. And again, right there, if you guys have gold stars, it just makes it a little bit easier because you will be using these indicators a lot. Next up, you're going to see all these indicators have been put up on the screen. And I'm going to actually hit this little button right here that says this little arrow. What that does, it allows us to actually change all the settings here. I don't know why it does it, but all of this is hidden. If you want to see it, you have to push that button down. Next up, I'm going to go through MACD. Keep all of the settings the same. I want you guys to go over to style. These 2 lines right here, MACD and signal, just make them thick. That's all. Perfect. Next up, we have stochastic. I want you to make these lines thick as well. Right? And then go from K length, 21, 5, 5, hit OK. RSI, don't need to change anything here. Everything is perfect. And I want you guys to go RSI, thick line, hit OK. And now we are ready to talk about the actual strategy here. So the key here is understanding levels of resistance, support, and momentum. And if you want to add on something here for longer term trades, you guys can also add on Fibonacci levels. However, the key is, and actually for this tutorial, I'll actually put colored candles on just so it makes a little bit more sense. There you go. When you see the asset is bullish on the weekly chart and you see it has green, right? From this point to this point. Lots of green was happening here. This was a great opportunity for day trading crypto. You can do the same thing for forex and the same thing for stocks, okay? When you see that and you see momentum is also good for right here, this is when things were bad. There you go. And you see right here that this was kind of bearish as well. When all of these things are bullish, so you can see breakout there going higher, breakout there going higher, breakout there going higher, all within this green, that gives you the opportunity to do a lot of day trading and swing trading looking for longs because everything is up, everything's pointing up, everything's pointing up. Even the change of character here is telling you to buy. So that's all during the weekly chart. Now that we know when the stuff was good for the weekly charts, we can go back over here to the daily charts. Okay. So we're just going to go back in time a little bit here. What you can see on the daily chart is the same thing. Bullish, 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 right? Or I say bullish, bullish, bullish. With a green change of character, you can buy this right here and you can sell it right there. Now, this doesn't look like a large move, but the reason you're not really doing too much here is basically because you can see there's a trend line and a resistance level up here. Why test that resistance? Take that easy money, take your profit, and you're going to be happy. And I'll say this as well. This is Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's going up like 2-3%, altcoins are going up 5-10%. So you guys can always go over to altcoins. And if you guys are looking for an exchange that gives you guys leverage, I'll put some down below for you guys. They're premium and they also give you guys some good trading bonuses for free, which is always a nice little perk. But that's one thing right there. Let's back up a little bit more. You can see this one right here. Buy, 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 all giving you green signals. You buy right there. You can scale out right here or sell right here. Again, giving you a good profit. However, what you're looking at here was a big news event. And that news event was Bitcoin going into the ETF markets, right? So that was a big thing. So you can expect that breakout to continue. And that's where we saw a huge move. But let's say you buy right here. You can still scale out 20% of your trade and still ride the rest of it up while having your stop loss remain here. Those different ways of actually approaching this. But again, I'm just showing you how if we just go back in time here, again, buy, 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 and you can make some money, especially right here. The next level of resistance was right over here. Boom, you can make some money there. Again, you can scale out or you can sell the entire thing. I know a lot of people want to say, hey, I'm going to buy here, sell here. But buying here, selling there with leverage, oh, you still make a bunch of money off of it. Trust me, you still make some good money. And then we get to the choppy part. Here to here, remember, the weekly chart was not giving us good signals. So if you bought on these ones, you lost money. If you bought here, you lost money. But you wouldn't have bought in there because the weekly chart was not all the way bullish on the stochastic, bullish on the MACD, and bullish on the RSI. This is why it's important to use the weekly chart and the daily chart, and even the 4-hour chart if you want to do a lot of day trading as well, because you want everything to be aligned. And when everything's aligned, it just makes everything work very, very beautifully. And again, this is where it was working a little bit right here. And you can see that there was a buy signal right here. Green, green, green. But it was right up against a level of resistance with no news coming out. Do you really want to buy that? You know, you can. But I would say most of you guys, even though it did make money, it did go up, I would say most of you guys might wait for this breakout to happen, and then you guys might want to attack it. And then when the breakout finally did happen back over here, what happened? The daily MACD was actually bearish. This was bearish. This was bearish. So the signs weren't really there. And if you have to question, oh, everything's not really aligned, don't make the trade. It makes everything a lot easier, wouldn't you say? Again, back over here, back to being the green zone right here. Change of character right here. Buy, buy, buy. This was right after a banking crisis when Jerome Powell kind of freaked out about his false transitory promise. And he had to raise interest rates very fast. We lost some banks, and this was kind of the result of that. But buy right here, buy right there, buy right there, buy right there. And look at that. It broke out above resistance here, right? So you guys can either buy after that breakout or you guys can buy beforehand. Again, scale out. It's your choice. And then it went higher and higher and higher until it actually hit an old level of resistance way back over here, right? This old level of support, excuse me. And again, you guys can buy right here, buy a little bit shaky right here, a little bit shaky right there actually at the same time. So maybe you don't buy this. It eventually goes up, but it's not an easy trade. So by having all of this stuff lining up for you, it just makes life a lot easier, okay? So if you guys have any questions, please listen down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys could comment, like, and subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot. And I'll be making these tutorials for you guys for quite a bit. So if you guys are anybody that also wants to trade, please consider sharing this in any Discord groups, any Telegram groups. I would appreciate it. Thank you.